morning, Sister Shawn Morley. Sister Shawn Patrice Morley of the south side of Chicago. And I don't believe there's any staff member or sister here in the DLC that does not know you are Irish. So where did you get the twinkle in your eye?
Do I have a twinkle?
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, just what your smile right now, it's such an Irish smile.
Well, if I go back to my childhood, I was baptized Rita Jean. I don't know where my mother and dad got that, but Rita Jean was my baptismal name. And then I had Shawn when I entered religious life.
Was your mother German?
Oh, she just turned over in her grave. My mother and dad were both from Ireland, County Mayo, God help us, but they met in Chicago. Great people, and they're in heaven now, praying for me and waiting for me. As my brothers are, my brothers Frank and John, and my dear sister Eileen. Probably many of you know Eileen. She was an Adrian Dominican. Her name was Patrick Mary, and she died in '02, and she had cancer, and she died when she was 70 years old.
Oh, my.
And in my book, that's young.
Yes.
Because I'm 82, and she died when she was 70. And I miss her to the day. I miss her.
Well, you were like twins, weren't you?
We were. We were like twins insofar. We were like Irish twins when it comes down to it. She was 15 months older than I. And I loved her dearly, and I miss her very much.
But she entered before.
Yes, she entered after high school, and I entered after I graduated from Aquinas. In fact, I graduated from Aquinas on June 5th, 1950, and I entered on June 25th, 1950.
And was your mother with you at the time? And
my mother was here when I entered, yes.
Mm-hmm. But didn't she die when you were young?
She died when I was in Saginaw, and that was my second mission, I guess. And that was hard, too, because in those days, we went home just for the wake and funeral, and we stayed at the convent. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like going home to your home, so. But I dealt with it, and I have no complaints. I have dealt with it.
But hadn't your father already died?
My father died when I was 10 years old.
Don't you wonder how your mother survived
yes.
all of that?
My mother worked at the planetarium for a while. Mm. And then in the later years, she worked down the street at the corner store. I think she wanted to be closer to us.
Oh, God bless her.
But she was a good lady. Yes. I have no regrets.
Yeah. May I call you Shawn?
Unless you want to call me something more dear.
Well, I could do that, too. I first met you, I presume was your first mission.
Farmington was my first mission.
Yeah. And I was a postulant. And Marie Doloretta, Joan Delaplane was there, and Mary Louise Gass. And they had sisters, as well as our superior.
Oh, yes.
Sister
Assisium.
And were your sisters?
My sister at that time was at Scholastica's, and Marie Ruth was there. And so Marie Ruth and Assisium were sisters. And that gave me a greater opportunity to see my sister. When the superior is our sister, that's pretty good. I really have to admit there are many times the community was good to me, as far as Eileen and I being together. I was up in Escanaba at one time, and I was at St. Thomas, and she was at St. Pat's. I was there for 6 years, and we used to see one another frequently.
Well, that sounds like Mother Gerald, though.
Oh, it does? Mm-hmm. That does sound a nice Irish mother. And also, Eileen and I, we both got our master's degree at DePaul University, and we were at various convents during the summer, and that was great, too,
Did you ever have a personal encounter with Mother Gerald?
I did.
And
That was when I made final profession in 56, December 56. And Mother changed me. She sent me to Van Wert, Ohio. And there was no school there. We taught CCD on Saturdays only. And we took a nap every day. Jody, stop laughing. And then it was very difficult for me.
were there any other?
There were two other sisters there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of their names right now. They were older sisters. They were nice. They were very nice to me. No complaints on that.
They're in our circle now.
Well, they're in our circle,
Right.
down with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but anyway, that following summer when I came to school, continue my education, I was walking down the hall one day and I passed Mother Gerald's office. And so I stopped in and I told her who I was, and I told her I had a sister in the community and that I just made final profession at Christmas time, but I was sent to Van Wert. And that was kind of hard for me because I didn't teach. I was doing CCD on Saturdays only, and I was taking a nap. I would like that now.
At the age of 22 or something.
I was in my early 20s, whatever. But anyway, she listened to me. She was kindness personified. She didn't tell me she was going to change me, but she listened to me. And then I waited until appointment day, and then my sister and I walked down to chapel, and we opened the appointment in chapel, and it said, Gate of Heaven, Detroit.
Oh.
So I was delighted. And then I had Joseph Treese for my superior, and she was a honey. I did church work, and I did teach. Ask me anything to do at that time, and I would do it.
Well, you did a lot of sewing in Van Wert, though.
Oh, and sewing. My sister sent me all her sewing. She was delighted.
Well, you had a sewing machine and time, lots of time.
I had more time than money.
Did you ever get back to your Illinois roots? I mean, were you ever missioned?
Oh, certainly. I was missioned in Chicago. I was, where was I missioned? I was missioned in St. Matthew's. Now, that was an experience. I remember meeting Rita Marie, and she was the chapter prioress or something like that, and she said to me, I'm going to send you to St. Matthew's. Okay. As the principal. And then you're going to close the school.
Oh my God.
I've never been a principal, and I've never closed a school. And she said, you can do it. And she was right.
Oh my.
I did it.
Such confidence that she had in you.
I don't know where she got it from.
Yeah, well, word of
And then
mouth.
it worked out. It worked out. But I was only there for the 6 months, whatever. No, at Matthews I was there for 2 years, and I closed the school.
That must have been a difficult
Yes, it was.
task.
It was a difficult thing to do, but anyway, it was worth it.
So did you, for the rest of your, what we would call ministerial life, apostolic life, ministerial life, you were in Chicago?
I was in Chicago. My favorite place was St. Cajetan's. That just happened to be an Irish parish. And they started an Irish parade on Western Avenue, and it was very close to Western Avenue. But that was wonderful. And with the Irish parade, they always have a raffle. And the raffle was a trip to Ireland. I won.
Oh my God, the luck of the Irish.
The luck of the Irish, I won. And I think people's eyebrows were raised thinking, why did she win? How come?
Fixed.
It was fixed, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. So anyway, I was at Cajetan's. And then I also, in Illinois, I was at St. Catherine Labouré in Glenview. That was probably one of the first times that we were able to choose where we wanted to go. So I went there as a principal. I was there for 9 years. And I lived at Regina Dominican. And I commuted. I think the last 3 years or so I lived in an apartment, but the first years. I had a tragedy there, too. One of my students, fifth grader, was hit by a car and killed on the playground. And the playground was right behind the school. And the kids gathered there to get in line in the morning, and that's what they were doing. And I was in my office before school working, and these couple kids ran into me, and they said, "Sister, sister." And I went out there, and I tell you, I had a wonderful pastor there. He did everything. He came out to me, and then he called the police and did everything that was supposed to be done, you know. And I was living at Regina, and two of the sisters, Ann Fallon and Rita Cecile, came to pick me up after school. They were afraid to allow me to drive. So Rita Cecile drove my car back, and then I went in the car with Ann Fallon. I'll never forget that. It was so important to me.
What a lovely act.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. But, oh,
Tell me, I was going to say, dare I ask, at which parish school was your favorite pastor?
well,
Now, that's a dangerous question.
that's a dangerous question. You could say which one. Well, at Cajetan's I had Vic Savory, then I had Bill Burke, and Bill Burke still comes up to see me. He comes up here.
Mm-hmm.
But he was taught at Columbina, so he has a connection with the Adrian Dominicans.
Well, tell me this. How long were you? Is Cajetan on the south side?
On the south side. I was there for 13 years.
Oh, my.
Long enough.
Did you retire from?
I retired from there pretty much so. That's when my sisters started getting sick, and we were living alone. You know, the two of us were living together. And we used to take her to the doctor and stuff like that.
Do they have a statue of you outside Cajetan?
A statue. They should. Maybe I could send one to them. But you know what they did at Cajetan's for me? They named a street after me. Sister Sean Morley is the street. So if you're ever in the Cajetan area, be sure to stop and see it and bow. Now, I think about that. That's 20 years. I've been gone from there 20 years, and it's still there. Because anybody that goes there, I ask them, that was nice. That was nice.
The only other Adrian that I know that had a street or drive named after her was Sister Eileen Rice.
Oh, wow.
From Siena. You know, she taught Siena so
yeah.
long.
Well, I did. I don't think I've announced it enough, though.
So does the sign say sister?
It says sister. Oh, I have pictures of it. I could bring you pictures and show you. I could put one on the bulletin board.
Is it on your wall in your room?
No.
Oh, well, when did you come to Adrian?
Well, I came to Adrian August 07. And I came during the summertime because my nieces, I have 7 nieces and 1 nephew. And my niece Sean teaches in the Catholic school, of course. And she was free at Christmas time. And she drove me in. She and my other niece drove me in. And that was wonderful. And my nieces are still good to me. They still like me. And I go back to them when I go home and visit with them, and they're just very good. As I always say, my brothers trained them well. Eileen and I used to say that all the time.
At the time of Eileen's sickness here at Maria, you were a frequent visitor, as I recall.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And I loved what they were doing for her and how they cared for her. And I was here when she died. She died at 4:30 in the morning. I can tell you everything about it, the wake and everything else. My sister and I were very close.
Did you ever take any trips together?
Oh, well, we went to Ireland. And of course, another thing, we were both principals at the same time. So we went to the NCEA, the National Catholic Educational Association meeting. That was every Easter. And we went to those most of the time. And we went to other California, sure, wherever it was. I couldn't make that decision where it was. Wherever it was, I went.
Did you ever give a presentation on what it means to be a principal?
No, because they just looked at me and they said, not her, no. I'm getting too nuts now. Okay.
How was your permanent move from Chicago to here?
Oh, it was fine. It was fine. And I just said two nieces took me up. And I was not afraid to come into Adrian because I was so used to it with my sister being here. But I liked it. I like what I'm doing now.
Did you think you'd live longer than your sister?
Oh. I said to everybody when I was going into Adrian, I'm going in there to die, and I've been living all these years.
Do you say why?
Why? And and it's true. I don't. My walking and everything like that is hard, but my insides are pretty good.
One thing that I'm impressed with is how you reach out to the sisters who come here from Chicago.
Okay.
Who are some of the recent sisters?
Well, Joyce Banks, and
how is she doing?
Joyce is doing all right for herself.
Right.
And her friend Helen Treese just went home yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'll be up there to see her this afternoon now, but she's doing all right. Who else can you think of?
Noreen.
Oh, Noreen Burke.
Mm-hmm.
Noreen Burke is my crowd, and she was my friend even before, so she's a nice lady, and I've been eating with her, and I don't know how much longer she's going to be here. Mm-hmm. But she's listening right now, so I better be careful what I say.
Well, I find her to be a very pleasant.
Oh, very pleasant.
Yeah.
That's why she likes to sit with me, because I'm pleasant too.
And you don't talk much.
I don't talk much.
And then Nora, there's another.
Nora Brady.
Nora
Brady.
Yeah.
Nora doesn't know I'm doing this. I have to get up to her room, but.
How well did you know?
Well, Nora was at St. Dennis's for a long time, and she and Liz were very good friends, with my sister and me.
Liz
Lynch.
Lynch, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're both from Dennis's. Nora's doing well. Am I right, Nora?
I know she had a serious fall, but she looks wonderful.
Oh, she looks wonderful.
Yeah.
No, she's doing okay.
I know that one of your ministries here, besides greeting the sisters from Chicago, especially when they come in for wakes, I can tell you're ready to dance. But you have the gift of visiting our sisters who are sick and present to them at the time of their death. That's a sacred.
And I'd never miss a wake or a funeral. And I think that's because of my sister. I can deal with that.
Wonderful.
But and the only other thing I do is I do the camera on Thursday, and I'm a Eucharist minister.
So you're the one that shows us around chapel.
Yes.
So
I don't show you around chapel. I show you the good holy priest
and the good holy sisters.
And the good holy sisters
that are there.
Yes. And if they're not, I take attendance too.
That I'm sure of. And you distribute communion.
Oh, I do. I give communion. I only give communion to the sisters in the basement. In
the garden room, you mean?
Garden level, And when Bob Kelly was here, he was the one that suggested I do that. I get on the elevator, go downstairs, and I'm not wandering over all over the place, so.
Well, thank you for doing that,
Oh,
John.
I hope you're going to be there when,
We won't go into that. But tell me, how do you feel about leaving St. Catherine Chapel for 10 days?
that's fine.
Won't it be wonderful to have general chapter?
That's right, and that's right. And is that what they're going to do then? They're going to have Mass in your room?
Mass here.
Oh, we all want
Or watch it, on
your
on
own TV.
our channel,
all right.
yes. And then they distribute
Mhm.
communion. But I think that it's such a sacred space for the delegates to be discerning and
That's right.
deciding and
That's right.
are pointing us into the future. Yes.
hmm I was talking to a tractor the other day, and I said, what a blessing it is for Father Jim, the prayer he says after Mass, and how we all pray together. And we pray for Attracta and the council. And he's been doing that for a long time. It makes all of us aware of what's going on, and that is good.
We've been blessed by their leadership.
Oh,
haven't we?
they have been,
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate that Attracta was born in Ireland, but other than that.
Well, you're jealous of that, I can tell. One last thing for a beginning principal in this day and age. What do you think would be the most important thing from your experience, or two important things?
Well, probably the fact of believing in yourself and you can do it. And if there is a problem with this teacher, go to the teacher. Don't talk about it to other people. Go directly to the person.
Mm-hmm.
And I have kind of dealt with that in my own life, too, is go directly to the person. And that's the time when Mother Gerald sent me to Man Word. I went back to her and said, okay, Mother dear, whatever. Oh, this is going to be interesting to watch. I feel like right now the only thing I'm doing, Jody, is having a conversation with you.
How beautiful, and how fortunate am I?
You are very fortunate.
Yeah. Well, Sean, why don't we end there and remain friends like we have for
Forever.
64 years?
Forever.
Yes. Thank you for your time today and the story of your life. It's beautiful. Thank you. Inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you.